Monday. Woo! Go away. I mean, and if you've got a case of the Mondays, and you came to the right place because I'm wearing it to fight it off. I'm Ralph of the Strongbacks, and welcome to another edition of the Strongbacks Strongcast. Today, we've got a conversation among conversations. I mean, we're going to be talking about some stuff of the origins of the Strongbacks, the brotherhood we found here in Florida, just becoming a band and coming out to the scene for the first time. Right now in the Strongback house, we have the one and only Surprise. I mean, we haven't seen him yet, but I'm going to present you guys the other man in the chair, so to speak, for the Strongbacks. Me and him started this project a long time ago, and it was just two guys playing acoustic guitar, trying to find some, good vibes, hanging out in the backyard, hazing it up, having a great time. And it morphed into this crazy thing. And man, it's just getting stronger. So here he is, RJ Rohr. RJ, what's up, man? He's ready. He's here in the Strongback Dub House.
What's going on?
Oh man, I'm just trying to chase away the Mondays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got the heart. Look, you got the war paint on too, man. You're ready to fight it off.
How do we both wear tie-dyes today?
I don't know.
Coordinate that?
I don't know. I can't say we did.
It's like we lived together or something, dude. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's odd. But a lot of people don't really know you. A lot of people haven't really been introduced to a lot of us, actually. This was my first outreach out to the community on video. But yeah, man, introduce yourself. Let them know.
My name's RJ, Richard James, to be formal. I come from Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania. Moved down to Florida about 8 years ago. Got involved with reggae music, met Ralph. Actually, you were my first friend down here in Florida. We met at a Firehouse Subs. It was my first job down here, and we've been vibing ever since.
How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? You remember the speed, man. A lot of speed and efficiency. Taking care of the customers.
That's right. This man would greet 5 tables in succession in approximately 3 seconds. He loved it.
Yeah, so we moved on from sub making to dub making, my friend. So
that's right. It's been, dude, 4 years, bro, trying to do this.
Roughly, yep.
4 years, and now look at us.
All started
MPK Mini in your hand, busting lasers.
Had to get.
Oh yeah. Today's super special, man. We got somebody that means a lot to us. Actually, he's like our big brother when it comes to just being in a band, being out there,
in the scene,
playing shows in the scene. It's insane.
Yeah.
And this guy took a chance on a bunch of guys that he had never met, which is another beautiful thing.
Let's welcome.
Let's welcome him in. I mean, you guys are seeing it up here on the screen. We got him in the house, ladies and gentlemen. James White of the Trees of Life. What's going on, James? How are you, dude? Yeah, he's in the Dove House now.
Beautiful Monday. I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
Oh man, this has been a rough week. You know how it is. You put in the hours, you're exhausted.
We
get to do fun stuff.
The week just started Monday.
Did it?
I did.
Oh man, it's got me already then. But that's fine. We're wearing our war paint. We're gonna brush it off. We're gonna have a better week. We're gonna create some positive vibes here in the Strongcast, and we're gonna hit it hard. James, man, thank you for being on the cast, man. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the intro, man. It means a lot. But I've been doing good. We survived COVID so far. The band's still playing.
So far.
So to speak, but we're still moving. We're still alive, which is good. Trying to get a couple practices in a year maybe. And
yeah, dude.
A year.
Dozen shows, you know what I mean? So but it's been positive. I think we've recently been in the studio just finishing up the second full-length album, and it's been a great journey, and I think it's even brought us all even closer together. You know, we added a couple people from the last album. You know, we added Mark on percussion, djembe Mark,
Djembe Mark,
Hey,
Alex
amazing.
Garcia on saxophone.
Big
Nice.
love to Djembe Mark. Hit him with it, RJ.
yeah, he's a legend.
And,
I love it. This is such a new dynamic to the Strongcast.
right.
Got it.
We got quite a few features that are on the album, which are really exciting, and we're getting close, man. We're getting close. We're about halfway done with mixing it. Got to mix the other half, kind of have some final, get together meetings, and then it's off to mastering, and hopefully we'll be able to release that in May, June, sometime around there. 2021.
Now, a lot of people I think sometimes will miss a step in understanding how much work goes into just simple tracking and recording an album and getting it to sound the way that your heart, your brain puts it out in your mind. To just, you're tweaking everything from the way that one drum sounded that one time to that one time you were singing and you felt like you were breathing wrong, or just the way that when you put on headphones it sounds great, but when you're listening on your phone it's like, what's happening? And then you listen to it on your TV and it's like, wait, that's great.
And then you got to do this for every song too, so it's just like,
yeah.
Which, by the way, how many songs are we looking at?
14.
Ooh.
Another 14. We did 14 on the first. Be 14 on this one.
Nice.
This is another magnum opus. This is a large, beefy album.
I'm hoping to do another 14 for the third album. We got pretty much half of that already done. So at least as far written. So, and I haven't written a song, man. I don't know, damn near a year. It seems like, at least 8 to 10 months. Because it's been just so hard to survive lately, right? Like a lot of my time has been going to doing extra work to try to make ends meet instead of
absolutely. Yeah, we're all feeling that, man. It gets to a point where you're just focusing on the work, and the music becomes like not background noise, but something that props you up while you're going through it, man. And I mean, you're saying you haven't written a song in a year, but at the same time, you do have 14 songs that still probably resonate, because I know your writing style, and I don't think that the situation that we're in would tie it differently in any album that you would write, because your message is solid.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. It's a huge compliment. But yeah, I think you're correct. It really kind of doesn't matter. I mean, some of these songs, like Phoenix, for instance, and we've got Kevin Reese from the Reese Brothers.
Oh, wow. What a fun
wow.
Right?
Nice.
That song was actually originally a song from my old band, Annika, back in 2006. 2007, right? And kind of put a reggae spin to it, and made that our own, and finally releasing it. And back in Annika, like we never got the chance to even record it, right? So it's getting a lot of love from the people from back home. Finally going to be able to have a copy of that to listen to, because they've been singing.
But talk a little bit about that. Now that you're talking about your first band, like talk to us about the transition from your first band, what you were working on, and then how the Trees of Life happened. How did that kind of like transition? Because we all go through these musical or life phases in life, but one complements the other. Situations, whatever it is. So talk a little bit about the origins of the Trees of Life.
Sure. So I don't know. Feels like 5 lifetimes ago, I was in a band called Annika out of Toledo, Ohio, where I'm from. And I was in that band from the time I was 19 till, probably 23, 24. By the time I actually moved down to Florida after that. But we had a great run. I mean, we, went from, an audience of 30 to nearly 800 in about 4 years. It was a city that I grew up in. So, and all of us that were in the band, except for the lead singer, was from Wisconsin. We were all from the area. So it was quite easy to build, not easy, but let's say when you're giving consistent content, it provides an atmosphere to allow you to create much more success when you're in an area where you grew up with everybody that you know that lives there, right?
Yeah.
And we had the opportunity to do some great things, and couldn't really go on tour, right? And so it was that was a stress, and kind of threw threw our arms up like, what are we going to do then if we're not going to actually go after it? And
I mean, at one point you just get restless,
Yep.
especially if you're an aspiring musician who has a message to give and has this like thirst for performing. I mean, it's just something that knocks at you every day and bugs you. Like, when's the next show, dude? When's the next show?
Well, I'll never forget that experience, man. I've never been a lead singer until Trees of Life. I've always been a backup guy. And I was in, a couple other bands before Annika as a kid, right? But the lead singer, Tim, really, really pushed me, you know what I mean, to open up my lungs and, stop bitching about your voice hurting. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. Your voice will catch up.
It's a muscle, man. It'll be sore sometimes, but you just got to work it.
Yep. You got to put the work in, man. And he was a huge influence to me on that. And, all the love and support, and trying to go after it. After that, or while I was doing that, right, I was also running sound with my old man. He has a business, Image Sound and Lighting, in Toledo, and I probably ran sound for like literally 2,300 bands from the time I was 16 to 24. Busy, every week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, running multiple bands every single day. So I was in a position where I could observe and watch all these bands try to make it, right, in all these different genres and things. And it's really where I started, learning my education on, how to attack and market, and, some of the things you should do and not do. And that's kind of where I got my foundation at, right? So after we stopped Annika, I thought I was done playing music. So I ended up moving to Florida because there, to me, there was nothing left in Toledo other than the music that I was playing at the time. And I wanted to start a studio. So I had a partner, Lamar, who we started a studio together, Rebel Revolution Music Group.
Nice.
And we started producing and doing instrumentals and beats and stuff. And we started doing, recordings, mixing and mastering and stuff like that, because I had so much experience on the live spectrum. So I wanted to do the studio stuff. And I mean, we had all kinds of crazy talent. There are so many talented people down here in Florida. It's ridiculous. The talent pool is out of control.
And that's something we talked about with Dave Merkley in the last Strongcast. I mean, the amount of people that you will just stumble on. It's like, oh, I play 8 instruments, and you just, for some reason, nobody's from Florida. It's like, I'm from Minnesota, Wisconsin. I'm from Jersey. I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm from, you know what I mean? It's insane. Yeah. It's almost like we're all drawn to this part of the United States because I honestly believe that, there's a hidden sense of this is like where there's the most performance type of mentality. A lot of people talk about Broadway in New York City having that culture as well. But down here in Florida, I have seen some crazy musicians, like brotherhoods, like insane amounts of people that are just coming out of the woodwork. Some of the people that we've met have now started bands. Just by coming out and hanging out, and out of nowhere, they're in bands.
Yep, that's crazy. So the problem was, though, we had amazing artists, but these people did not want to do the work, right? They didn't want to post on social media and try to create content or, try to sell tickets, right? Like try to get people to come out to a show. Try to even approach somebody to book a show, right? They don't want to. There's all these crazy business things that are also involved that have to be done in order for it to be successful. And so, I had even taken that upon ourselves. And so, I mean, we were booking the show. All I wanted these kids to do was just take care of their own social media. You know what I'm saying?
And that's like half the battle nowadays. You have to be, active on social media.
You have to be.
Especially
you
like
gotta be
now
out
that
here.
we're in COVID, like everything's digital, everything's what you see on your phone and
Mhm.
stuff. So
And honestly, this is one of the only ways that we can safely show our faces right now. So you know what I mean? We comb the beard. We line it up. We you know what I mean? And we mask off.
I didn't comb my mustache, so I guess
What? It looks combed to me, bro.
it's naturally combed.
I like that. The weight of the world's
It's like a
just
Naturally formed.
the comb itself. So after that was the deal. I mean, I'd put in, another 6 years of my life into doing a studio, right, and trying to build that business, and trying to find clients and doing mixing and mastering, learning all about publishing, learning all about ISRC codes. You know what I'm saying? Learning all about whether you should own your own UPC or just have somebody else own the UPC for you.
or what is a UPC?
All these crazy things. It's a universal purchase code.
And that's something that anybody getting into the business, these are like the crucial things. Like you got hit and you learned all of the speed bumps and all of the crazy stuff that people that just make songs and are passionate about their music need to be exposed to, so that they're savvy enough to not make the big time mistakes.
But at the end of all that, I saw that there was no real end there, trying to live somebody else's dream for them.
Right.
And I just I was in the meantime running the studio. I had found my voice out of nowhere. I had started writing originals, right? Just kind of on the side, just for my own fulfillment, right?
Yes.
Which we'll talk about that more with the why we music, right? So ended up just saying, you know what, I'm just going to put something together, take all the knowledge that I've acquired over the couple lifetimes, it felt like, doing all these different things in the music business. So I've been running sound and seeing all this stuff since I was 15, 16 years old. So I was exposed to it all the time. I want to try to just group all that stuff together, put a group together, and see if I can start applying it. You know what I mean? And my absolute intention was hopefully I can come across guys like the Strongbacks, right? Where they're hungry and also humble, and don't want to keep everything to their chest and not share contacts and things of this nature, to where we can actually build together. Because one of the
brotherhood, man.
It really is.
The more of us that work together, especially in the reggae community, it's it's vital for everybody to be on the same page, helping each other out and stuff. We got to promote each other. It's a big part of like what reggae is, So just the community itself.
I think that also applies in any genre. You know what I'm saying? Because the more, like, when I'm running sound for all these bands, I'll see them. They'll grow together. Some of them will get signed. They'll get signed to Warner Brothers. They'll get signed to Universal. They'll get signed to Victory Records. Signed to a couple dozen of them out of the area. And you see what it's like to actually be on the label for a year or two, and then most all of them just died and they went away, right? Or they tried to do it, or they caused way too much stress that they couldn't move on anymore, right? But the ones that actually grouped together and was able to provide a whole night's worth of entertainment, those were the groups of bands that actually were heard, right? And could book things together and provide a whole night of entertainment. So these are all things that I wanted to apply. The other thing I wanted to accomplish was, which was unheard of with everybody that I talked to at the time, was can we get paid like a DJ for a night's worth of music as an original band, please? That $600 to $1,200 range, right?
Oh yeah, that is a thirst. That is a thirst that a lot of live performers have. Is the want, like the ambition to not just be taken seriously, but just on a professional level, to have the equity of, you know, what they consider top-notch entertainment, because artists that devote their life and time to instruments also have this workable skill set that can net a lot of money. And I think that it's been lost a little bit in different avenues of, you know, performance and booking and what is considered good live entertainment. You know, I think a lot more is digital nowadays. You know, a lot of people really enjoy background music or live music with lots of BPM, so to speak. And then there's people like us, the musicians that love to go to live shows and hear giant horns blaring and drums smashing and people with their amps turned up way too loud, but we're playing a song of peace, love, and unity, and it's a vibe that is just insane to witness live lately because of where we are in the world. And I think people are gravitating towards it a little more.
Yeah, and it's exciting. So once I decided to try to start putting something together, I looked on I looked on Craigslist, dude. The
Yes, sir. Been there, done that. Multiple
the
times.
band section, you know,
Yielded
musician
much
section
fruit
there, and I found a guy who was in like the Orange City area named Dave Swanson, and I hit him up. And you know, it's so weird too because you gotta reply to their secret identity on Craigslist and wait for them to reply back, with their information. It's so funny. So called him up. We went over to the studio in Sanford where we were running the studio out of. I had a kid, Tyler at the time, who could play drums a little bit, but he was actually moving away across the country in like 2-3 weeks. But asked him to just practice real quick so I could, show my songs to this guy Dave and see if he could play. So he came over. We fired it up. We played about 6 or 7 songs. Dave liked it, and at the end of that, he says, I think I might have a guitar player who might be interested in playing like some lead stuff, And he's like, I'm not sure if he'd really be interested, but I might have a guy if you want me to ask.
It always somehow falls into place the least way that you think it will.
I don't know anybody down here. I'm from Ohio. You know what I mean?
Right.
Never made a band down here before, So
same here.
And that was Mr. Tim Sample, who's still our lead guitarist to this day. And then after that, we had who do we have on drums? I think we had Bobby Fields on drums. And
Bobby Fields.
So Bobby's on our first album. He was our percussionist for our first album, and he's also a vocalist. You can hear him on a couple of verses. Call him Reverend Redbeard. Nice. We had a great relationship for the time that he was with us. He had wanted to part ways and raise a family, and knows that there's definitely stress being in a band who's trying to do some stuff. Also raise a family on top of that and work a day job because we're not getting paid enough to quit our job, so we have responsibilities. So
that's right.
It was absolutely respectful parting of ways. We have mad love for Bobby and his family. They actually just had a kid about a year and a half ago now, so he's doing exactly what he wanted to do.
That's awesome.
And he's super happy with it. We're super happy for him. And there's been times where we played at Cafe Da Vinci, right before COVID, and he would show up and he'd come up and we'd bring him back up on stage. And,
that's awesome. That's such a good feeling, isn't it? Old friends that just jump on and they know the songs and you get into a good vibe. Yep.
And so we're definitely not shy when it comes to other musicians to join us, playing live.
So there you are. You're writing all of these songs. You show them to Dave. Then you get the other pieces to the band together. Now everybody's together. And what does that mean? I mean, what does that mean to you at this point? You have just been writing songs for yourself, but now you're starting to see this thing get big, and you have all of this, how can I say, creative canvas to work on. you have all these guys with different ideas on top of your ideas, on top of your song ideas. And not only that, but you're exposed to their song ideas. So now this giant brainchild starts to grow, as most new bands do. And what was your process then? How did you guys go from just kind of figuring it out to going, all right, let's get a schedule going, we're playing shows?
Well, it really, like, a lot of changes happened pretty fast. Like when Bobby Fields was our drummer in the beginning, it was only for about a month or two. And then I met Skylar. And because Bobby was working a swing shift job. So for 1 month he's working, 9 to 5. For another month he's working, 5 p.m. to 3 in the morning, right? And so he just couldn't even be in the band at that point. So we brought Skylar in, which I met him. My good friend Blue was working with me at Radio Shack at the time, and Blue had sold Skylar some headphones and told him, found out that he was a drummer, and said, well, shit, my dude Smooth's looking for a drummer right now.
Well, look
Did
at
you
that.
say? I'm sorry. Did you say Radio Shack? I think you're mispronouncing Best Buy.
Nah,
No,
dude.
no,
You said Radio Shack.
So,
Oh man, I remember.
Like Circuit City.
Yeah,
right?
I remember an
H.H.
text
Drag or
store.
whatever.
Yeah, I remember a tech store called The Wiz, and the slogan was "Nobody beats The Wiz." And that's from like the
Yikes.
80s. And that's gone too. So we're all mispronouncing Best Buy now.
That's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But so once we brought Skylar in, and we had our first probably 3 practices, that's when we knew. You know what I'm saying? Like when
it clicks, you feel it.
When you're starting to meet people, you don't know people's level of commitment, right? But when you find a group of guys that'll show up, you know what I'm saying? Like not unreasonable amount of time, but like, and shit happens, life happens, right? But you get those guys that'll show up, once a week.
Yeah, they want to play music, man.
Every single week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It gets exciting, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you start building together and start figuring out all the parts and, practice and practice and practice. And then you put a set together. And then once we had about, I think it was about 9 or 10 songs, we were ready to try to do a show. So Tim Samples, our guitarist, through their past bands, and now come to find out too, Tim and Dave have been in bands for like 8 years prior to the Trees of Life.
Right.
So they're like really, really good friends, and it's just amazing. I really, really got lucky. I'm super fortunate to find the guys, because we're now in it, brother, like nearly 7 years. Okay. And the same core 4 guys are still together.
That's awesome.
And it's been amazing. It's like like I was telling Ralphie the other day, it's the greatest open relationship of my life.
That's right, and that's another thing we can talk about, because that's something that's a good talking point. We have so many musicians, right, in just the area, and not necessarily just the area, but you might not realize that the guy that you're playing guitar with absolutely loves country music, and he's playing with a band down the street on Thursdays, and he plays country music. And then the guy that plays keyboards in your band is, really into swing music. So you might find him screaming on organs on a Sunday night, at one of those shows.
Exactly,
and that's what we can talk about. Is just like member networking. Everybody in your band loves music so much at this point in their lives that they're playing as much as they can, different projects with different bands. It's like a giant community amalgamation of who can you call up to get this one gig, these pieces. I need a drummer, I need a bass player. All of a sudden, everybody's hitting you back, and you're getting into these shows where you've never practiced before, but the show must go on, and the guests know nothing of it. They think that this band is professional, has been playing together forever, but that's a piece of the Strongbacks. That's a piece of the Trees of Life. That's a piece of this band. And they're not just in one band, they're in other bands. So they're not just pieces, they're just portions of sound, and and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, we could go on about how many different projects exist within just 3 bands. you know,
Oh,
because
man.
most
Yeah.
members love to play different stuff. So, I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
And the best part is with all the different members, like it's a different presentation every time too. So, you know, we hear that a lot from like our fan base is they love coming out to the live shows because it's a different show every time. You know what I mean? Like you can listen to the songs on the album all you want. You come out to a live show, you're not getting the album.
Yeah, it's a
No.
different experience for sure.
don't even think about it. The
You're
album
not
is for
getting
you
the
in the
album.
car. The album is for you to get emotionally intimate with the music, to
Exactly.
understand the song lyrics, the vibe, to just replicate that. And when you get to
Yeah.
the live show, this is us
The live show can be
expressing.
very
We're celebrating life and jamming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's what it's all about. And that's another thing I really love about it, and especially this community because it welcomes it, right? Like, it seems like in my experience, at least other genres, it's just not welcomed that way, right? Like,
Right.
they want to hear how it sounds every time. So you know you've got these, but like Dave came from a metal band, you know. Tim and Dave were also in a band that was like more of like alternative rock, right? You know, Annika that I was in was definitely like an alternative rock. You know what I mean? I guess there was a little bit of kick to it on one or two changes, but you know, we're distortion all the way, kind of almost half-ass screamo. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and I was in a. Most people don't know. I was in a metal band for about 6 years in Florida, and you know, it's just as simple as waking up one day and realizing everybody's way more upset about things than you are. and just wanting a different vibe, and you just find it in your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people play reggae now. I have like a metal background. It's kind of funny.
Or punk,
that transition,
or
ska,
just
heavy music,
really heavy ska.
Yeah. Well, like tropidelic style, like the ska that they kind of put in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that must have led to more things. I mean, you have 10 songs, right? And you start to get addicted to writing songs. Now you have this giant repertoire of music that opens up for what we call venues, you know, in that scene where you will walk in, you know, like we're about to this evening. We're going out to Tanqueray to play in the greatest basement of all time in Florida for the longest running Reggae Monday of all
in Florida.
The only basement of Florida. And I mean, that we'll show up, we'll set up, and we'll play for 4 hours of live music. This is we're getting back into the equity of being a live musician versus having different types of entertainment, and the pay bracket and how it's different, how it's almost like a triangle backwards where the little guys are at the bottom, you know what I mean? But the venue scene puts us at an advantage where we get the most exposure out of our music because we can put out originals, we can play reggae covers or musical covers that people enjoy. So talk to me a little bit more about, whoa, is that a Brendan?
It's Brendan.
Is that a Brendan? What's up, Brendan? Brendan's in the Dub House.
There he is.
Somewhere Brendan this way comes. He's been spotted.
Right.
It's like the Sasquatch.
Yeah, he's been hanging out. He's been hanging out.
But yeah, James, talk to me about the venue scene because that's how we became acquainted. That's how we kind of like you gave us literally a chunk of your 4-hour set for us to show people what we've got. Like that was like the moment we were like, man, this guy's a huge brother. And just giving us a second just to spread a verse, to spread a chorus, to show you guys that there's a vibe out there that we're trying to build and push out. Talk to us about like that venue scene.
Yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like when we first tried to crack that I want to play all night, pay me, you know, DJ pay. And it always killed me because we actually, you know, would actually bring maybe a couple people to the venue place, right? Whereas the DJ brings no people and never does. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make sense to me, you know? So there was a place called Finnegan's in Lake Mary. They're not there anymore. It's a different name now. But those are the first guys that gave us a break, and we made $300 to play for 4 hours, right? And it was so
Wow.
stressful trying to get all that material together at first. You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
It's a lot of
man.
songs. A lot of
you know,
songs to be
actually
played over 4
doing it.
hours.
You know, like do you do
Fast forward
do you
to your
4
third
sets,
hour. You're sweating
right? Sweating
and
like
you're
crazy.
singing and you're just
What do we have
feeling
left,
it.
boys?
Yeah.
Well,
What's the next
9
song?
more.
Ugh.
Shit.
Yeah.
I need a beer. I need to piss. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
I
want to
need a
solo
minute.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys take this section. I'm gonna go to the restroom. Grab a water.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'll tell you what though, it's like if you can put in the work to just get to that point and start booking those venues, it really opens up a lot of doors for you because
Right.
then you actually have a product that most of these venue places actually want, you know,
Right.
and at they need you to replace a DJ for a long period of time, and it's 4 to 6 hours, and you have to decide how many sets you're actually going to do, how much actual music are you going to play versus your set breaks, and what I really like is some of these venues, if they don't do their due diligence and actually hear you before they book you, a lot of times they'll tell you, strict 15-minute breaks, and then
Yeah.
then when you come up for that first set and blow them away, they're like, take 40 minutes if you want.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Come back
yeah,
whenever.
yeah.
We'll
That's
see
something.
what you
That's
guys
a,
get back. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and that's something we are sometimes at a disadvantage being new because we don't have enough source material to show people this is what we
Yep.
sound like. But not just that. Once we get there, we're gonna play some music, and we're gonna try to make people not just relax and have dinner. We want them to forget about everything and immerse themselves in a vibe. And that is
we don't
very
want to be
different.
background music. That's what the radios and shit are for, It's like playing at Tap Room and people are in there eating on dates and stuff, and we're just in there jamming.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's like, can you guys turn down a little bit? It's like, well, you have a stage in here. You told us to come play music. There's 5 of us on this little stage.
Yep.
Like, what do you expect?
15 feet of space, 5 people, and we are literally a giant wall of sound down a very narrow restaurant where people are coming in on dates and eating burgers and drinking beer. And at one point, we're asked, like, hey, you guys got to turn down. And it's like, you asked us to come play some music.
We're always told to turn down, dude.
Yeah.
Terrible. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
I tell you what, though, I mean, compared to some other venues that we don't consider menu venues because they either don't sell food or the area where, you're watching everything is not where the food's at or beer is at. You know what I'm saying? If beer and food are
It's like a
there.
patio or something on the side.
Right.
Yeah.
So with those menu venues, though, you will get an audience because people want to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like whether they want to see you or not, right?
There's going to be people in there regardless.
And it really allows you as a band to start building that audience playing venues like that because they really didn't come to see you. They came because they wanted that, juicy barbecue burger or some wings or chicken salad or whatever, right? So, and then they get a pleasant surprise to, meet this new local band and then you start, building your fan base. So I think that there's a place, for those menu venues that does have, a big advantage. The problem is how do you settle between going from the menu venues to like a festival while taking a 60% pay cut?
That's
right.
true. But then your audience is targeted. When you go to like a festival or something like that, you have people there looking for your music essentially. So, whereas like a menu venue, it's by chance. Someone comes in and they like reggae music or something like that.
Right.
But you do take a pay cut.
You get people to come to your menu venue shows, though. It's just it's just like in my opinion, trying not to saturate yourself because there was a time 2.5, 3 years ago, we were playing 15, 16 shows a month.
Yep, we remember because that's when we met you.
Bro.
Everywhere. You weren't just playing. You weren't just playing one club. You were playing the one club next to the one club, and the one club 2 doors down from that one club.
Yep.
Yeah, in the
same week. In one night.
And I really found that not to really be helpful for you. So, this
is something the Strongbacks have said, the long, because we did a long year of menu venues and playing out. And sometimes those types of places you walk into, you're going to get paid, and you wind up with all of this time to play music. And at one point, sorry to say, we wind up just playing for bar staff, maybe the 3 people that are enjoying something at the time because it's a slow point of the night. We have called menu venues the best paid practice space of all time because at that point, it's very open-ended. We don't have to get it exactly perfect, and we can experiment a little to see what happens because the pressure is off from having not as much of an audience at the time, because you do run into those slow nights or slow times where there's not really that many people, but you do want to play music. That's when you'll be like, oh, let's try out that new song that might not be ready, but maybe it could be ready, as we play it, maybe we'll find something new in it.
Yeah.
Paid practice never hurts.
Yeah, I agree. It was also a really good opportunity for us to jam with other musicians, because if they know you're at a menu venue place, they'll just show up to grab a beer real quick, and it'll be like, yo, hey, come up, play a song real quick.
Yeah.
And then they'll play their song, and then everyone will clap, and off they go, and then we just finish our set. You know what I mean? Until the next break. But that's always fun too. It really gives you a lot of experience playing on stage and playing live. Being able to learn how to actually jam in front of an audience, kind of get out of your comfort zone and things of that nature. It's definitely been something that we've taken out of that. But I think that all the different ways you book shows, there's always a purpose. Like the menu venues are not only for experience, but also for the pay, right? Because we get paid pretty decent at the menu venues.
Yeah.
And that allows us to pay for studio time and pay for getting T-shirts made and getting copies of our CDs printed and getting stickers, getting hats, and you know what I'm saying, getting all this, stupid little banners like this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh no, man, it's vital because
very vital.
For a little while. I mean, think about it. The name the Strongbacks, it doesn't roll off the tongue right away. A lot of people have to be like, "I'm sorry, what was that?" a few times.
Yeah,
because of this. Yeah, and sometimes it's a little hard. But once we got our big banner, it was easy to get people to walk by and just be like, "Oh, wow, that's," you know what I mean? And they can put the name to the sound, and that's one of the biggest
building
things
a brand.
Is building the brand. And association with whoever's walking around, because menu venues, like we were talking about, they give us the biggest amount of possible exposure, to maybe an audience we didn't think was into what we were doing.
Right.
So that's definitely a point of it. I want to talk about something that, and I'll go around so we can all have a section of it. I want to talk about something people probably don't think about either. How and why people like us are addicted to not just write music, but perform. How and why we're musicians. Why? And I'll start real quick. For me, somebody asked me this, not too long ago. Why do you keep on with this, like, sometimes loveless marriage that sometimes people can have with being a performer, a musician, whether it's the financial struggle or necessarily just putting your soul out there and maybe not getting the response that you want back from people that listen because you put so much of yourself onto it. But the reason why I do it specifically is because when I find myself in the middle of a song, I feel like a transcendent vibe comes over me, and I can literally be taken away and placed in a place where, everything is not just going to be okay, but it does surround us with this idea of something that you're creating is affecting someone else, you know, and it's not necessarily your song. It's not necessarily your vibe, but being a musician, when you're in the pocket, when you're in the vibe, it can literally transcend you.
I've been there before, Ralph.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah, and
it's a beautiful thing, man. It really is, dude.
And that's where you'll see a lot of specific types of musicians lose themselves. It's one of the reasons why we wear glasses on stage.
You'll see me close my eyes on stage. I'm not sleeping. I'm just somewhere else, man. You know?
Yeah,
I'm there, but I'm also somewhere else.
It's the happy place. I mean, and that takes us away. It definitely does take us away from the struggle of everyday life. You know, what we're going through at the time. You know, once for me, it's like once you get the 4 clicks of the drumstick, it's over. I'm not thinking about anything else but this vibe, this moment where we have an opportunity to create something for people that has an instant effect. Instant.
Yeah.
It doesn't wait. When you hear something, an intro to a song that you love, you feel it instantly. And with reggae music, it's a bass line, it's a drum beat, it's a vibe. I mean, RJ, why do you music? Why does it? I mean, why are you constantly just running towards that feeling?
I can relate to you in the way of, you know, the transcendent feeling for sure. That's a big part of it as well. It's a form of expression, you know. That's how I can be a pretty emotional person sometimes, so it's my way of getting my feelings out. I just love playing music. I like to see people's reactions. It's there's nothing like someone coming up to you and just being like, "Yo, the way that you played that back there, like I just felt something." You know, it was just amazing. It's a really cool feeling, you know, just to meet people that really like what you're playing, and you don't really think anything of it sometimes when you're a musician. You know, it just kind of comes out naturally, and it's just cool to see people appreciate that, you know, because as a musician, like, you're very self-critical. Like, I'm super self-critical of myself, and you don't always have to be like that, and people show you that when they come up to you with the love and appreciation. So yeah, I think that's about it.
I mean, and it fits, you know, because we have very similar experiences live. I mean, I remember I remember looking directly at you during certain instances, and it's just like, boom, oh yeah, that's happening.
Yeah, you can feel the connection,
you know,
man. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, James, I know that we're resonating with how you see this musical journey that you're on as well. So describe why it is that you specifically music. Why are you a musician still? Because like some of us, you know, it's a loveless. You gotta put in the work, and sometimes you don't get back what you put in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about the expression. Like, why do you specifically music?
Well, I mean, you know, I even gave up on music before, right? Of playing live again and such, and I found my voice and started writing new songs because I really found out that this is the act that I can do that provides me the most personal fulfillment possible, right? And understanding that, you know, like all my songs, at least most of them, when I'm not trying to, you know, pointedly write, you know, something for the radio or something like that, right? Are really, you know, songs like I do it for me, right? And that's how I find my fulfillment. And that transcendent feeling, I think, actually applies to, you know, anybody with any of their things that give them that personal fulfillment, right? You know, whether it's gardening or, you know, teaching or you know, anything like this. When you have those moments where things are going well, because even though we music and we talk about the transcendent feeling, guys, don't forget about all the pain and the hard work and, you know, arguments with people and the fight to book a show and all the politics behind everything and you know what I'm saying?
The never-ending tennis match with creative minds during the writing of a song. You know, just yes, no, yes, no, yes.
It's like for somebody who's gardening, it's that moment when all the flowers are blooming and somebody walks by and goes, "Oh my gosh, your garden is amazing."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when
You
they
have
get
no
that
idea.
fulfillment, right? But that took, 6 months of hard work and dirt under your fingernails and hours out there tending the garden and pulling all the weeds and making sure that everything's healthy and getting what it needs.
Right.
On the music side, it's the same thing for us to just get that moment of, yeah, buddy, that just happened. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you have that transcendent moment where you really feel like yourself, right? I mean, for me, it's like, when you have those moments, it's like a reminder where, I am where I'm supposed to be, you know, and really gives us that drive to want to do more. But it really wasn't until, I decided, like me and Ralph talked about all before about, kind of being the guy putting everything together, right? The real key here, I
The
think,
man in the
having
chair.
that relationship is you can't expect your other guys to want it as bad as you do. When you're out there trying to put
Right.
together
It's a very personal journey sometimes.
it really is. And life happens. Things change. And coming into this project, like my last band called Annika, that's a Buddhist term for impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing stays the same.
Right.
Holding on
Flow
to
with
anything
it.
for too long always leads to suffering. So
Right.
if that's true, then why would you expect things to ever stay the same, right? So
Right.
as things start changing and moving as you're growing, you got to roll with the punches and make the best decisions possible, and try not to hold people accountable for not wanting it as bad as you do, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're not fun to be around, nobody wants to show up to practice. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's right. That's right.
And it happens, and communication's everything. I
Yep.
mean, we've had our tough times as a group, but the reason why we still have the core four still with us is because we communicate very well, and we give each other time to speak, and we communicate without screaming at each other. Right? There might be some screaming for sure, but it'll resolve in a calm conversation where everybody's heard,
Right.
and
Of course.
we can try to come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Or agree to disagree, and what's next? Make a decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we just kind of go with it as it flows. And I mean, when you're on your journey of manifestation, I believe that when you are living in the moment and being truthful where you're at in the moment, what you're really good at and what you're not, where you need help, the universe always provides you that vehicle to find you to your answer.
Right.
Right? You just have to be conscious enough to notice when it possibly comes by, and then lift that rock and see what's underneath it. It might be a new keyboardist, right? Or like for us,
Right.
it might be a new horn player. You know what I mean? It might be a
Right.
new percussion guy. Like, so
you got to kind of hop on every opportunity there is. Especially if you want it. You're devoted to it. You will too. You will hop on everything.
Absolutely.
And then I think the icing on the cake is all the love you get from other people. Like when you get people coming up to you and saying like, look, I was thinking about killing myself, and I started listening to your music at the house, and it kind of made me rethink some things, and I just wanted to call and say thank you because you saved my life. And like those kind of moments,
those are unexpected too, because as musicians we're more into the work, the writing of the songs, the beat, the construction of everything, and one thing we never take into consideration is how it affects other people, whether it's positively, negatively, however it does. But that's something that we're learning is that sometimes you're having a bad day and you just want to feel loved, and you go to a song.
Mm-hmm.
You go to something.
I mean, music is healing. We
Absolutely.
We had a great moment, with somebody passing at our Sanford Porch Fest. We did a special song for just this past weekend. And you get all their friends and family just in tears and celebrating, somebody's life because you learn 3 chords and some lyrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For us,
Right, that they specifically
really kind of
loved through their lives, and
man,
it's just
and I've never seen so much positive things like this than in the reggae community. It's here, right? Because it's like in this space, yes, there are songs that you could say might be kind of negative, but those are mostly political in nature. right?
Of course.
And then whereas everything else about it is all about being positive and finding, you know, a truth or healing
overcoming
from personal trauma, right? Like finding out how to live with yourself and, you know, maybe achieve your dreams and find out your purpose in life and, you know, figure out what really makes you tick. And it's like, there's nothing else like it to me. And I'm glad that it exists because you know, I feel at home here, you know?
Yeah, dude. And with that, I want to have a little bit of fun with you guys. I got some videos queued up. I talked to you guys specifically about them before we did this. I just want to enjoy and vibe these out with you guys really quick. We're not going to play the whole thing, but we are going to play little clips of these songs that we love. Mine is going to speak more to the struggle and how reggae music transcends us even when we're in pain. We have one that talks about the origins of why the Strongbacks even exist. And talk a little bit about your video, James.
All right, so I picked Mike Love, Permanent Holiday, and you know, not only, you know, I'm not sure if Mike Love's even human. I think he's alien because he's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's out there. So good.
But what this did for me is because it's really hard to try to put my music really in a genre. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not roots, right? We're not you know, Rasta reggae, right? We're not. It's something different, right? So I've always had a hard time trying to fit that in, and watching Mike Love, and specifically on this song, and seeing all the love that he gets, really encouraged that to me that there really are no rules here. It's more about the vibe and the intention.
No constraints.
Right? The vibe and the intention and the message are the focus here, and it's not just a you know, mainstream media show here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
something deeper and more personal. Specifically for this video, we're going to see Mike Love in a very intimate setting. It's a studio setting, but it's also very live. He did this literally on a wood floor of a living room of an apartment or a hotel room, it looks like. This is a really cool video. We're going to watch this, hang out for a minute. We're going to just check out the comments in the comment section and see how everybody's doing. All right. So this video here is Permanent Holiday by Mike Love.
I'm going outside to play. I ain't gonna slave away, no. I'm no corporate Babylon. I'm never gonna be a part of their manipulation games. Well, I'm taking the reins and breaking the chains. I'm never gonna kneel.
Dude, once you hear that guy start singing, though, like, you're thinking to yourself, look at this caveman with a guitar. What is he even doing? He starts to put this beat together, right, with his mouth, and the guy next to him looks like his stepbrother. You know what I mean? And he's just relaxed. he smashes the cymbals, puts the sticks away, and keeps hitting the bongo. And then he's harmonizing at this guy at just a higher register than even him. This is amazing.
That's up there.
And this isn't even the peak of the vocal part of the song. Let's check out the real meat
when he breaks it down.
Yeah, he basically takes an entire phrase and breaks it down into sections.
Yeah, like syllables almost.
I rev make sell I spring man words I be I home I
At first you're like, what's going on here, dude?
Yeah, he breaks the whole thing down.
What am I watching?
I change man words I be I home I be live lay mind trolled in day I sink rev lay make life celebrate
Right. So what he's doing is he's singing one word at a time, but in a different part of the progression. Then he's harmonizing each word with itself 3 times. So there's 3 sections, 3 layers of vocals that are harmonized 3 times.
I be change see manifest words.
What you get is this.
I will be the change seeking manifest.
That sounds like a keyboard, like a bubble.
Yeah, it's like he's going. He's doing it with his voice.
I will take the revelation, make my life a celebration. I will be the change seeking manifest the words speaking. I refuse to be.
What kind of mind do you have to possess to come up with something like that?
It's
Like you're
insanity,
really
dude.
saying, like
I don't even know.
syllables of a word, like parts of a word on the loop. Like, you know how difficult it is to run the loop like that? Come on now. Live like that.
Just one guy doing all of this.
Celebration, I will be the change of seeking, manifest the words of speaking. I refuse to be imprisoned.
Brings it back.
Make my own permanent holiday. I'm coming out Saturday. I ain't gonna slave away. No, the front of corporate Babylon. Never gonna be their manipulation game.
And then they go back into it, dude. Wow. Wow.
Like it's nothing.
Yes, sir.
Like
Nothing.
I no words, dude. Like if I were to see that live, I wouldn't know what to do myself.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. We've
It's
seen
insanity.
it, dude. We've seen it down at the social before you guys came down here.
Dang.
Man, absolutely
Ridiculous,
nuts.
man.
And
I saw him
and
at
it
the
shows you that
Orlando
just
Fairground. It's pretty good.
oh wow, that must have been a good show. And that shows you like it on the album. Yeah, it could sound sort of like that, but that was a live recording of him smashing it out live, and that's something else. That's a different vibe, and you get that accuracy of Mike Love right then and there.
Mhm.
You know, just
But
that.
just the fact that the genre accepts something like that, though, that's completely out of the box, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that really influenced me to know that it's okay to actually do what I do and move forward and not have to conform to, you know, a specific way to do things, like you might see in other genres of music. Does that make sense?
of course it does. You're the only front man that I've ever met in my life that plays your genre specifically with a ukulele.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Love
And
the
you rock
ukulele.
the crap out of that thing like it's 100 pounds.
Right.
And I mean, and just raw, live. You know what I mean? And just turned up and just.
There's so many subgenres of reggae, you know, like there's the metal influence reggae, there's like digital kind of reggae, and, you know, there's all sorts of stuff out there. Jazz, reggae, you know, like there's really no restraints on any of it. It's very open.
What got me and RJ, I think, into reggae was this one day we were hanging out at my house and we were just playing whatever guitar. Like it had nothing to do with reggae. And we were just looking up videos of just like Led Zeppelin and just crazy stuff. And yeah, the Eagles. We were looking at some Eagles covers.
Hell yeah.
And we wound up, like, YouTube does its thing, and somehow you get a different type of video, right? And this is one of the first times me and RJ looked at each other. We were like, it's happening.
What is this?
We feel it. What's happening?
Right, what is this? I looked the wrong way.
What is this? All right. you can still dub, Laser. I'll let you have it.
All right.
Knock it out.
Oh.
There it is. In the dub house. All right, we're going to play this video specifically because it resonated with me and RJ. It got us into feeling like a big, giant live sound could also have a sick vibe to it. This is Burn One by Fortunate Youth.
Yes, sir.
Live in studio. And right off the bat, we just noticed the drummer just goes so hard. And we were like, this is reggae music. This is the drummer busting his ass.
It's also so rocky, you know. It's like it's great. His mic's on his stomach, dude.
No.
Or does he not have a mic?
Oh, you got a mic.
Dude, it's so hard not to stare at Dan Kelly's mouth while he sings. It's so hard. You gotta try really hard.
There's a lot of feeling there, though.
He's so good, dude. He's so, like, precise with what he's saying, too. And this is where like RJ said, it gets rocky. This is like a nice lead. Oh, vocal lead, sorry.
Oh.
Put on its edges like man. Just my herbal snacks are remedy. Created those roots, just this melody.
Man, so much feeling, man, and this is just a heavy hitting reggae song, dude. Just a really heavy hitting song.
Yeah, it's a good song, dude. Fortunate Youth was very important,
and I think we've heard this song for years, different facets and different ways, but that's the song that, like, I think. If it was in a time machine, we would be experiencing, like, the birth of the Strongbacks drive for reggae music, that live sound, really hard hitting live sound.
Yep, I agree. I agree. I like covering that song too.
Oh yeah.
That's a fun song to play.
And I mean, the crazy thing about how much we have in common with being with the Trees of Life is that there are times when you have downtime between bands, right? There's times where maybe the Strongbacks weren't as active, and I was just learning how to play keyboards, you know. And this was a little while ago, and I must have been at it for like 3 months.
Yeah, we picked up keys at the beginning of COVID, and
yeah, and you were like, hey, I really need you to come help us out, come play keys for me a little bit. And
you're a keyboardist now.
I went out there and I was pins and needles the whole time. You know what I mean? Because as a musician, when you're not ready, you're not ready. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
sometimes you need a kick in the ass to grow a little bit.
What's that?
Sometimes you need a kick in the ass to grow a little bit. Sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you need that encouragement from a brother to say, "Hey, you can do it. It's not that bad, man. You love it. You know what you're doing. Just get out there.
Let's go." That was a fun night.
Which you picked up really quick, so you pick up almost every instrument pretty quickly, so that helps out.
Well, I've just been trying to be the best student that I can be for a lot of music, because the passion that I found for reggae music, there's just so many pieces to it, you know, and as much as I want to play horns, you can't afford a horn, but you do have a melodica, and if you learn how to play keyboards, you can have both. You don't have to choose, and that's something that's really cool. So I mean, definitely a big advantage there with being able to push forward on maybe a new instrument or two.
Yeah, man. Yeah, picking up the ukulele, that only happened about 1.5 years ago for me. Maybe 2 years ago.
You were playing. How long were you? How long was it, like, in your journey with Trees of Life, where you just picked up and said, "Hey, I'm just gonna try this ukulele thing out and see if it works out," and then it just literally did?
4 years in. So 4 years in the band until I decided. You know, I was actually really watching Emma Lee, a good friend of mine up north who does music. You can look her up. She has a bunch of great music out there. She's got her Spotify thing going on, and she plays ukulele. And you know, I even wrote her a couple songs, you know, that she recorded, and it just really, you know, inspired me to try it out. And then when I tried it, and to me, like, you know, I don't really consider myself a great musician, really. Like, I guess I'm more of a lyricist than anything, right? More of a writer. You know, a lot of my stuff, I keep it simple. I'm a huge fan of the Beatles. I know you can't see the shirt, but the Beatles are a huge influence for me, man. And, you know, they always kept it simple and you know, to get the message across. And I really, you know, it really stuck with me. And I don't know where I was going with that. But
well, I mean, your musical influences do shine. I mean, even if it's just a ukulele.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the ukulele. You're right. So when I did pick up the ukulele, I mean, it was actually quite easy. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was in for something crazy, but I actually picked it up pretty quick, and then it was kind of fun to transfer, you know, most of your originals from guitar over to ukulele.
To four
To
strings.
me. And I played a little bit of keyboard too, back in the studio days, making beats and stuff. So, you know, I'm definitely a one-finger champion in the studio, and I can play a couple chords. So that's about the extent of what I can do on piano.
Sometimes that's all you need, just a couple of chords, man.
Well, what do you have? What do you got planned? Let's talk about our plans, because right now we have a show coming up that we're both on. The Trees of Life and the Strongbacks are both going to be at Reggae at the Rock.
Yes,
April 10th and 11th. We're giving it a shot, guys. We're getting out there. We're bringing the reggae music back out.
I think we're on for Sunday, I believe, or Saturday. No, Saturday we're on for.
All right. I think we're on for Sunday. So
yeah, we're trying to move over to Sunday so we can have, because Kevin wanted to play for us, on the feature that he's on the Reese Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see what we can try to finagle, but for now, I guess we're on for Saturday. But the most closest event upcoming is actually this Thursday, downtown Orlando at Lake Eola. We're doing the March for TBI, Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness.
Oh wow, that's a good cause.
Our buddy Sean, who's the owner of the nonprofit, who put on the event. I think this is his 5th or 6th year. He just got a signature from the governor 2 weeks ago to make March 4th the official day for TBI for the state of Florida.
Oh wow, that must be a good to see,
huge.
A good show of support.
Yeah, that's a good thing to be a part of, man.
So this is going to be something that's going to be growing quite quickly, and we've got Morgan McGinnis is going to be with us. She's going to open up, and she's brilliant. She's amazing talent. And then we're going to be playing from 4:30 to 7:30, right in front of the World of Beer.
Oh yeah.
What's the date again? Say it again for the people.
So it's this Thursday, March 4th, from 4:30 to 7:30, at the World of Beer at Lake Eola, downtown Orlando. Right in that area in front of World of Beer is where we're going to be
there for big vibes supporting the cause for
then
TBI.
You're gonna have, they've also got live art installments with Azari Art and a bunch of people from her team.
Wow.
Are going to be there, which is going to be sweet. And I guess they're gonna like put these up for the entire month for everybody to see out there at Lake Eola to raise awareness for TBI.
That's awesome.
It's actually really interesting to watch this thing grow because I think it's going to be something really big here over the next couple of years, and we're going to have a nice little event to play at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's pretty good. And a lot of people specifically in the reggae community, we look for good, righteous causes to play for,
Absolutely.
to support, to bring forward any causes that bring awareness to any kind of debilitative disease or anything people are really going through, mental health, cancer, anything that we can get our hands on where we can provide positive vibes for people that might not be doing as good,
Yep.
Definitely good.
Yep. Other than that, we've got March 14th on Sunday at the Hilton in Cocoa Beach. We're doing a little.
Going out to Cocoa, nice.
So that should be fun. What else do we got? Well, we got the Reggae Fest pretty much for now. I'm sure I'll probably post another 5 or 6 shows here over the next week, filling some of those empty spots. But that's pretty much what we got so far, man. And then of course finishing out the album too. So.
That's right. Everybody stay tuned. We got show dates coming out on the Trees of Life, man. Big respect. And guys, I mean, it's been a great chat. I've loved hanging out with you guys. We listened to some music. We talked about different facets of what we do, why we do it. Just the story of Trees of Life is insane because it spans such a length of distance across the country, just like a lot of musicians that find themselves in either their final project or one of their big projects. With reggae music specifically, we've found community, brotherhood. We have found a sense of purpose to each other, a sense of purpose to the audience. Reggae music is also a message. It's not just how much we love to play music. It's also what kind of positivity, what kind of uplifting message we can send to people within the words of music. And the Strongbacks Strongcast is literally a platform for people to come on and express what it is that makes you push forward every day and be what we consider a strong back. Somebody that, above all else, just perseveres and just gets it done, gets through it, regardless. RJ, it was great having you, man. It's great for people to finally meet you, and
it's good to be here. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. With the dub,
you, James. It feels like it's been like a whole lifetime since I've seen you.
I know, man. I know. We'll see each other soon, though, for sure.
That's right. The April 10th weekend, Dub House. The April 10th weekend, we're going to be playing reggae at the Rock. It's going to be great. I think that all the bands that are playing are going to create a new sense of community because we're all itching for a festival. We're all itching for a platform where they're saying reggae is here. So if you want reggae, if you want positive vibes, you come here for reggae music in all of its different forms, in all of its different facets. Because regardless of what genre we're playing, it's just reggae, baby.
It's just reggae, baby.
That's what we love.
Hell yeah.
So thanks a lot, guys, for being here.
Hell yeah, brother.
And I hope to see you guys really soon, all right?
Yeah, man. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Be safe.
See you, James.
We'll see you
Take
around.
it easy, James.
See you
Thank you for being here. You're such a great big brother and a help to us, and you've done so much for us in such a very short time. And I don't think we'd be where we were or where we are now if you hadn't extended your hand and helped us out and had been our first big brother on the scene.
Well, we got more work to do.
We do.
Absolutely. Doesn't stop.
Not done.
Yeah,
we're not done. All right, James. We'll see you next time, all right?
Later, guys.
See you, brother.
Oh, man. That was great. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better talk, a better chat, a better friend to have on here, man. Choose a Life is awesome. Some serious good stuff.
All those guys are really cool. Really good people.
So I'm ready to wrap it up, man. We got a Tanker Race to play tonight.
Yeah,
man.
we got a show to get ready for, my guy.
That's right. We're throwing down the jams from about 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock at Tanker Race, Florida's only reggae basement on Monday nights.
Only basement.
So
come down and
on behalf of Ralph and RJ of the Strongbacks, thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time on the Strongbacks Strongcast. Have a good one.